Hello guys, how you guys doing? This is good old Grandmaster Evan here, and you're watching the Anonymous Celebrity Media on YouTube. And you also watch me on my channel here, Grandmaster Evan here. And this video is a special video, and it's being both live on both channels at the same time. And this is the second time done. And this is a conspiracy mystery of Polybus. Now, if any of you ever played the game Polybus from back in the 80s, Polybus was a game that was a very popular game that only lasted for a few months. I remember I was about 5, 6 years old when it came out, and it was at a lot of arcade places across the country, but only a few chosen arcade places got the game, the arcade. But it only lasted for a few months. It didn't last as long as Burger Time, Pac-Man, Pole Position, Donkey Kong, Cubert, Pitfall, which was these games. These games were very popular back in the day. I mean, this was like before Sega and Nintendo. Atari, ColecoVision, and Activision were the big three gaming consoles before Nintendo, Xbox, and Sony PlayStation and stuff that came out. It was like before them. But it was a time where the game Polybus became a back in 2011, was it the early 2010s, that the game became a creepypasta. And even though it is a actual game, it became a very mysterious game because the people that ran these arcade places would report that these gentlemen, these individuals in suits, would go in to this particular game and record, take down the they take data from this game, and every 3 to 4 weeks for only for a few months. And only for a few months. And it only was for not very long. It was a test that was see, if you play this game to a certain point in the game, you will see these lights flash, and really, out of nowhere, if you play this game, you would get migraines, nausea, blurry vision after playing this game. Now, this reminds me of the episode of Pokemon where they had this Pokemon that was it called Porygon or whatever the name is. Kids in Japan and here in the U.S. would suffer from seizures because of the constant flash of red and blue lights. We like constantly, and lights. I mean, it'll be so bright that the flashing lights would like lighten up the rooms. I mean, literally lighten up the rooms and shit. Now, at this point, you would think, okay, if this game did exist, where is it now? Good point. Look at the draw that it was found in a storage unit about 6, 7 years ago. Was it a little over a decade ago or so? The individual that bought the storage unit, because there's an auction, and the guy that bought the unit found this arcade game, and he did not know what it was until it was a unfinished game of Polybus. It was taken apart, so he spent thousands of dollars rebuilding this game, and it plays. And so back in the early '80s, this game was built and created for a reason. And that is to see what does the game does to the mind of the youth. Big conspiracy theory. That is a huge conspiracy fact. I was about 5, 6 years old when this game came out, and it was so popular that there would be a big old line around the block. And you would think, okay, what happened to it now? So a little over 35 years it's been found. Almost 30 plus years been found. Storage unit, rebuilt, refurbished, and it still has the effects as if you played it. Now, when you realize that, when I found out about it, I found out years later. Okay, and I realized that there's a creepypasta about this game, because I remember playing it. I mean, I was looking up that there was no line, and I remember getting a chance to play it on my own. Give it a shot, give it a try. Did I reach the point where the light flashed? No. No. I did play it once. Only once. And only once. And there's back here in Fresno, we had a lot of arcade places here in Fresno. You see them at malls, you see them at different places like Chuck E. Cheese and shit. And you wonder, whatever happened, if you play it years later, will you feel the effects? Maybe, probably. I mean, I don't know, because even though it's been 30 some odd years or more, I mean, it's been a very long time since. Now, if it was brought back for a reason, like if it was, if it gained a popularity back in the day, do you think that it would gain popularity now? And the answer is no. Because it was a game you played back in the 80s. The very, very early 80s. I mean, the very beginning of the first 3 years of the 80s. You would think... Now, Pac-Man has came back many times on different consoles, and Donkey Kong, same thing, but not like the original. Burger Time was my favorite game. Burger Time. Dig Dug was another one. If you ever played Dig Dug and you're my age, leave a comment below on both these channels. I mean, I remember playing Pole Position, Dig Dug, Q*bert, Spy Hunter, Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Mario Brothers, before the Super Mario Brothers came around. And I mean, these games were pretty big back in the day. You know. My favorite was Spy Hunter and Burger Time. Period. Spy Hunter was kind of like you're driving this car that looked like a Vet or a Jaguar, and you had oil slicks, spikes, machine guns on the car, and I mean this was a very pretty cool game back in the day. And if it was back today, I would play it because I think that is a very iconic game, like Q*bert, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Dig Dug, and all that other stuff. And but Polybus is a game that would be considered a conspiracy theory or a fact game, because even though there's been a few creepypasta about it, I think that it'll be a very I mean, I would like to see it come back, but in a different platform, in a very different light, because the CIA created this game for a reason, and they own the rights to this game, and it's a good game, but kids and teenagers that played back in the day, they suffered from nausea, migraines, blurry vision, the whole thing. But nowadays, kids these days don't know what it is. People thought, is it a movie? No, it's a video game. It's a video game. It's an arcade game. Now, if you played games, now if you ever played Double Dragon, Contra was the game that was before Call of Duty and Battlefield. I remember playing Contra 2. These games were 8-bit, 16-bit games. Altered Beast. I mean, could you imagine Altered Beast being played on the Xbox or PS4? Oh man, the graphics, holy shit! Now that's the game I would love to see come back. Shinobi. I would love to see Shinobi on the Xbox One and the PS4. Burger Time, Spy Hunter, Pole Position, you know, Pitfall would be a nice one. I mean, but the thing is, most of the games were on the 8-bit, 16-bit systems before they're arcade, and also on the Atari console. Atari owned the rights to this game and shit. So, I think that if you really look at the games you see now, I mean, think about it. I mean, could you imagine playing Mortal Kombat in the very early '80s and shit? There would be an outcry. Like, did you see that son of a bitch? No sound? How's that? No sound? What the hell? Let's see here. Alright, got sound now. Alright, I got sound. Okay. Well, the thing is, if you look at unplugged. Oh shit. My mic muted. It's unplugged. Let me see here. I'm gonna plug in my my headphone here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let's see here. Can you hear me? Well, how about now? I got a viewer tell me that he can't hear me. Well, let me see here. Well, hello. Let me see here. Shit. Nothing. Hey, hold on here. Can you hear me now? Well, I'm doing 2 channels right now. Let me see here. Let me see. I'm recording on 2 channels at the same time. Okay. Now, if you understand that, let me see here. Hello. It's probably my computer here and shit though. See. Okay, right now. Okay. Now, I mean, if you really understand that Polybus was a game that came out in the very early 80s. I mean, really, to a point where, if you understand that creepypasta was used to, I mean, you had games from, I mean, like, nowadays, I mean, you see, like, games from Pokemon played on the Game Boy Advance and being used part of the creepypasta. I mean, I love that games are being used as creepypasta stories. kind of like it seems like I'm having trouble with my feet here. Let me see here. I'm using both my phone and my let's see here. Okay, my phone here. So like, so mix right there. Hope this works though. I mean, I wanna like okay, if you cannot hear now, if you cannot hear from my one channel, the non Liberty Media channel will be able to be heard on that channel, and so like I was saying, I really enjoy having like games being used in creepypasta. I do like that Polybus, the game Polybus, which is a game that's nearly 40 years old, being used in the um, um, creepypasta. But it was used to, I mean, if you played it to the point where you see flashing lights, you would get like this nausea, migraine, and blurry vision. Like I said, stereo. Let's see here. If I could do that, man. Current settings. Volume. Less than this thing. Having trouble here is like huh. Well, see here one. Okay, I know here. Well, the thing is, if you look at gaming conspiracy theories, and look up here and check it out on YouTube. Polybus is a game that you would want to really check out on YouTube, because yes, it is a conspiracy theory, but also a fact, because a lot of teenagers back in the day would get nausea, blurring vision, headache, migraines, and pretty much you would get all that shit. So I want you guys, thank you for watching, and if you cannot listen here on the Grandmaster Reverend channel, check it out on the Anonymous Liberty Media channel here on YouTube. And also, you want to check out the Anonymous Liberty Media podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Castbox, Breaker, Google Podcast, Overcast, Radio Republic, and also Pocket Cast. So you get all this information on that podcast. Episode 34. And same title. Conspiracy Mysteries, Polybus. Okay? I want to thank you guys for listening. And you have watched the Anonymous Liberty Media on YouTube. Now, if you got this transmission, you are the resistance. And if you're new to this channel, please leave a like, subscribe, comment below. Okay? Remember, knowledge is free. If you don't like it, go fuck yourself. Peace out. Reverend out.